one of the more exciting teams, at least in the beginning of the season, will be the San Jose Sharks. But I think it'll be interesting throughout the season because they have such an influx of young players, of course, headlined by the first overall pick, Macklin Celebrini, and Will Smith making the jump from college. But first-year coach, Ryan Warsofsky, they did more than just add young guys, but a lot of their identity will be young guys. They've got 3 of the top 8 betting favorites for Calder. Celebrini tied with Matvei Michkov for first, Will Smith 6th, and then Jaroslav Askarov, who they got from the Predators after he was like, I want to play in the NHL. So they got a stud goaltending prospect. And then really, like, you look down the middle, their top 3 centers are all new guys. Macklin Celebrini first line, Will Smith second line, Alex Wenberg third line, and a lot of newcomers. Not, as I said, not all young guys, but mostly the story with this is how will all these young guys adjust to the NHL?
Yeah, that's going to be the storyline around them, and it's going to be fun. It may not be pretty, it may not be successful for a lot of this year, but it's going to be fun to watch these guys. Like, obviously, you've got Celebrini, which is going to be the headliner for a lot of people, but like, Fabian Zetterlund scored 24 goals last year. Eklund had 16 goals. Like, both those guys really impressed me, and they could take additional steps forward. Will Smith, I love. I think that he's going to be unbelievable. I'm hoping to see a bit of Quentin Musty, a good amount of Quentin Musty this year. Like, they've got an awesome core. It's not going to be there immediately.
But what I'll give, and obviously, correct. Let's love them and let's not put too much pressure on them. Let's not like
love them and
obviously
let them
like,
grow.
What's that?
Love them and let them grow.
Yes, love them and let them grow. And they did, in a couple of ways, kind of what the Chicago Blackhawks did when they had the first overall pick with Connor Bedard, which is, yeah, our story basically is going to be a bunch of young guys headlined by this first overall pick, but let's make it an environment in which growing is logical and kind of makes sense. So I mentioned Ty Emberson with the Oilers preview, and I'm like, why though exactly would the Sharks get rid of this guy? They're such a young team, 23-year-old right defenseman. Like, that's is really good at suppressing goals. Like, shouldn't that be the kind of guy you want? They trade him and pick up a 3rd-round pick to bring in Cody Ceci, who's like, you know what? If there's one thing we could say about Cody Ceci, it's that his teammates absolutely love him. He's going to be great for the room. They signed Tyler Toffoli, who, Stanley Cup champion, still has a lot to give, is going to be really good on the power play with Celebrini and whoever else gets on there. Like, they're able to like transplant entire parts of a team, which is they now have, didn't even mention their captain Logan Couture, but like, they now have...
I constantly forget that he's on the team.
I know. Me too.
Hey, thanks for watching the channel.
We appreciate everybody who checks out our stuff, but 80% of our viewers are not actually subscribed to this page, so if you could smash that subscribe button, it would go a very long way for us.
The more subscriptions we have, the more visibility we get from YouTube, which allows us to do more.
So press that button. Thank you. But they now have like new veterans to go with all of these young guys who are... really making their bones in the NHL. So I like the way that they went about that instead of just being like, oh, how do we make sure we have the most cap space and how do we make sure we maximize? They're like, you know what? Let's make it so it's cool for Will Smith to come to the rink every day. And it's cool for Macklin Celebrini to shoot the shit with Tyler Toffoli or get his chops busted by, I don't know, Cody Ceci.
Yeah, I mean, like, not only that, it's you can't... Everybody...
Barclay Goodrow, too, or Barclay Goodrow, too, who ends up being... kind of fucked over, but can help this team and this young group.
And it's like, it's cool that Goodrow, who started his career and was like kind of an AHL stud in San Jose, is back and seems to be wanted by that team, even if he didn't want them. I just think like it's everybody, when it comes to young teams, they're like, why do you give a spot to a guy like Cody Ceci? Why do you sign like Tyler Toffoli? Like, just let the young guys run the show and build towards the future. You can't do that. You have to have the older guys too. Like,
Sean, could you tell us why you don't do that?
Then you're the Buffalo Sabres.
Then you're the Buffalo Sabres. Oh, yeah. Mike Felger voice. Then you're the Buffalo Sabres.
Hey, we had Kyle Oposo.
That's right. You did.
Yeah, you just...
but you don't want to do the, like, hey, it's okay. Just go out and be young. Like, you want to say that when there's a bunch of old guys there too, to make sure that you're asking the right questions, you're making the right mistakes, those
learning
kind of
good
things.
habits.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's you have to have that mix. And we've seen plenty of teams in the past lean too far into the young department. Like even like the Ottawa Senators, I think were kind of stuck there for a bit. This team is not going to be good. We can be honest with ourselves. They're not going to be good, but they're going to be a lot more interesting than they were last year.
Yeah, I think that best case, they score a lot of goals and allow an absolute
Same position as the Ducks.
ton of goals. Yeah. Didn't you mention Jake Wallman they get? That's kind of fun.
Yeah, I guess. You
Add
like
him to
dancing?
that defense. He can like dance with them. They made it so the young guys aren't the most immature guys on the team. So like Macklin Celebrini is
True.
automatically a grizzled veteran because he's not dancing on the ice. Although
And they
Jake
got-
Wallman, that I said that endearing. Dance your fucking heart out, brother.
They do have the best content creation defensive group in the league because
That's
you've
right.
got Jake Wallman, guy creates content by dancing on the ice, and then you've got
Mario.
Mario Ferraro, who is a YouTuber. So they got that going for him.
Possibilities are endless for the
May
San
not have a
Jose
ton of
Sharks.
wins, but they could have a ton of clicks.
Very, very excited about this team.
We all silly like the mayor.